Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide, and this will be a short video in the hopes of getting CIG's attention to something that they are not so much getting 100% wrong as they are getting it only about 75% right. The good news is that getting it 100% right is both easy and will result in an opportunity to create more interesting finished product. This is something that when I heard it first during the first panel of this year's Citizencon irked the architect in me. And by architect, I am not speaking in a metaphorical sense, but rather that I have a license to practice architecture, use the title architect, and sign building plans in the state of California. So, getting straight to it.
What I was mentioning in terms of the rain, right? So
there will be no rain in space stations.
So this is generally a really cold station. And when people are in this area that's in the center, because there's so much stuff happening here, it's starting to get warmer, right? You've got the heaters here. So what happens when you have this many people cooking food in this one small area, breathing hot air, that sort of thing, it all starts to rise in this environment, and it starts to get that massive cavern, right, that we've got up here, all the way up to the roof there. As it goes up, it starts to cool down, right? And we start to get precipitation inside, where it starts to rain.
What they described is condensation, and condensation is very different than rain in interesting ways. First of all, rain happens occasionally based on the current atmospheric conditions. Condensation will be essentially constant based on the presence of moisture in the air and the presence of surfaces cold enough to be less than the dew point of the air, but not colder than the freezing point, which would result in frost rather than condensation. Frost-covered surfaces in the cold areas of the station. Make a note of that, Art Department. But returning to condensation versus rain. Rain happens dispersed across the atmosphere. Condensation starts as a thin layer of moisture that forms on surfaces, not in the air, but soon forms drops due to surface tension. In the presence of even microgravity, the drops will then travel downward along the surface until they come to the lowest point, and then they will drip. They will drip at exactly that low spot over and over again, 24/7. Now, the occupants will not let that just puddle on the floor. No way! That's fresh water. And on a space station, fresh water is way too valuable to waste even a drop of it. So the occupants will not just let it puddle on the floor, but will put out buckets, cups, bowls, jars, or whatever based on the size of the drip. And they will tend to put them on boxes or stools or even hanging cradles or gutters so that they wouldn't get kicked over too easy because, again, the water is valuable. So absolutely, they will collect and protect the water. So first, this represents an opportunity for the prop designers to create both simple and complex containers to collect the drips. Go to town, guys. But it also makes for an even bigger opportunity for the sound designers. Drips make noise. A plastic bucket, boom, makes a different noise than a steel cup, tink, a glass jar, ding, or a ceramic bowl, bung. They make a different sound when empty or half full. Now, imagine a large resonant space with many of these drips, some near, some far, and have their position and distance change as you move through the space. The possibility of a diegetic soundscape in such a space is amazing. The drips could each be regular in timing, but just a few of them could create a background noise that would seem to never repeat. For example, just 7 drips with timings of 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and 23 seconds would take over 14 months to repeat. There are also possibilities for the station NPC AI, with people collecting the water from the containers or even scraping the frost in cold areas of the station, depending on how valuable the water is. Which brings up an interesting side issue. Would the fully functioning space stations of the verse also have condensation? Yes, but they would have centralized systems for handling it as part of their environmental systems. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Danny Raymond for Ray's Guide.